Hello, my name is Mick Hunter, and I'm one of the co-PIs of the 10,000 Rooms Project, a digital humanities project being hosted and developed at Yale University with the support of the Mellon Foundation. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to add content, how to create content as part of a project on the 10,000 Rooms site. So this is a video for project managers or for project contributors. Now before we get started, you'll notice that in the upper right-hand corner of my screen, it says Welcome Mick Hunter with an exclamation point. And what this tells me is that I am currently logged in to the site. None of the functions I'm going to be showing you in just a minute are accessible to you unless you have already registered for the site. And of course, you would already need to have gained access to a project in order to add new content to it. If you create your own project, that is not a problem. But if you are not already a member of a project to which you would like to contribute, if you go to the project homepage and click the link at the top of the page, you will be able to request access to that project. Now, the project I'm going to show you today is my own project called The Collected Sayings of Confucius, which is accessible from the Projects tab here. And I'll simply click on Collected Sayings of Confucius. And this is my project homepage, which has a lot of information about the text that we're working on and the goals of the project. In a nutshell, I'd like to produce a complete annotated translation of an early 19th century compilation of non-canonical Confucius material. Now, to access the text itself, I'm going to scroll down to where it says Project Texts, and here there's a link in blue, which I will click, the Kongzi Jiyu. And this is my project text page, and you can see on this page at the bottom are all the thumbnail images for the pages within this text. Now I can either click on the very first page to open up the text viewer, or I can scroll down to the page I'm looking for. And since I'm going to start with chapter 1, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this page here. Clicking on that link will open up the 10,000 Rooms text viewer in editing mode. Now what you see here is the first page of this chapter in the middle of the screen. To the left is the chapter navigator. Clicking on any of the chapter titles will take me directly to that location in the text. Here I'm going to close the chapter navigator by clicking on this button here. I can open it up at any time or close it. And to access the annotations that I've already created as part of this project, I'm simply going to click on this plus arrow here to open up an annotation window. And I'm going to open up, let's say, 4 different windows. Now, as you can see, the more windows you open up, the more the real estate on your screen becomes an issue. But we can also move around these tabs in whatever way we see fit by simply clicking on the tab and dragging to the location on the screen. I'm going to stack them like so. And let's have our transcription here. Let's have our translation here. Let's do an analytical or textual commentary here, which is blank for this page, an analytical commentary here. And I think what I'm going to do with my commentaries is I'm going to put them side by side so I can simply toggle them. By textual commentary, I mean we're producing an annotated translation, so this is all the annotations that go into the translation. So if there's a difference between two different versions of a text, or if there's a character that's hard to read, or whatever the problem is, I would put all of those textual annotations here. Excuse me. Clicking here on the analytical commentary is a looser sort of discursive commentary noting points of interest in the text. And so here, my first piece of analytical commentary is tied to the translation of the chapter here, chapter 1, Exhortations to Learn. And I have a brief comment about why Sun Xingyan, the compiler of this text, probably chose to label his first chapter Quan Xue, which is to say, Exhortations to Learn. Now, because you can tell that we're in viewing mode here, because we can see that above each annotation item is an action menu with a drop-down arrow. If you're just viewing the text and looking at the text in viewing mode, you will not see this above each annotation item. And by clicking on the annotation item, we get this drop-down menu: annotate, edit, delete. Delete should be fairly obvious. We can delete annotations if we'd like. We can also edit them and go into them and make any changes we need to. And here we have just a very simple WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get menu that allows you to do some simple text formatting and also to change the font size, to add hypertext links, etc. You can also add metadata tags here if necessary. And when you're done making your edits, you can simply click Save. I'm also going to I'm going to click this button, which will show me all of the image annotations directly, which is all of the shapes that we have drawn on top of the image to which we have tied our transcription items. So for example, if I click on this item, you can see it highlights here. If I click on this item, it zooms in here to these characters, etc. Let's see if we need to make a change to this item. We would click it, say Edit. Here I've inserted a hyperlink to another website, the cText database. So this is a link to the location of this particular passage within the cText database. And also, if this window is too small for you, you can also click these buttons here to expand the size of the window to give you a little more room to work with. Or you can, of course, you can shrink the size of the window too. Click there for save. Now what I'd like to do now is to jump to another chapter in this text for which I haven't yet added any content. And I want to show you what it's like to start adding annotations from scratch. So to do that, I'm going to click on the chapter navigator, and I'm going to click on chapter 10, 博物, or Juan 11. Jumps to this page, and you can see that so far on this page I've only added transcriptions, but I haven't yet added any translations or any commentaries. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to click here to close the menu. And I'm also going to give myself a little more space to work with the image. Now, if you want to start adding shapes to an image to which you're going to try add transcriptions, now this has already been done for this page, but let's pretend that the transcriptions haven't been added yet. By clicking on this menu, you pull up your annotation tools. This clicking here allows you to draw a rectangle. This is a circle or an oval. This is a freehand annotation. This is a polygon. And this is a pinpoint annotation. So let's start out simply. We're just going to click on the rectangle. And once we click on the rectangle, you'll see that these options also lit up. And this allows us to choose what kind of line we're going to use, what kind of color we're going to use, or whether we'd like to draw a solid a shape that is filled in with some color. For the time being, let's just keep the default settings. And to draw your transcription, you're simply going to click and drag. And release. And that creates your transcription item. Now then, at that point, you get this pop-up window. And this, in this window, this is your editing window, and this allows you to choose the type of annotation that you're adding to this image. Now, since we're just drawing a box around the image, for the transcription, I'm going to select my transcription annotation. And here, very simply, let's just transcribe the title. Kongzi, the Collected Sayings of Confucius, Chapter 10. And when we're done, we can simply click Save. And when we click Save, you see that the chapter title is added to the bottom of the annotation list here. But now, of course, we have a problem because actually the chapter title should go before all the rest of the content. So to change the order of your annotations, you're simply going to click the up arrow here, up, until the item is in the order you'd like. And when you're done with that, you need to click here to save the order. And now it's saved. So we have our transcription item. Now, if we'd like to begin translating and adding additional layers, additional annotations on top of the annotations we've already created, it's very easy to do. Simply click Action here and annotate. and it creates another new annotation window. Click here to determine the type of annotation you're going to create. And here we're going to choose translation because we're going to be translating the title. And we can click in the text box to begin. And I will say the collected sayings of Confucius, chapter 10. Save. And now as soon as we've created that item, you see it appears here in translation. And we can keep going with this. Let's say, for example, well, let's translate the chapter heading here. For some reason, did I not save the order? Save. Now let's say we want to translate this chapter heading. I would click, annotate, and let's translate this as 10 broadly knowledgeable about things. Save. And it adds the translation there. Now, let's say there's an issue with this particular translation. Let's say there's some commentary that needs to be added to this. Well, then we can simply continue the process. Click on the title, and then annotate. And we determine the annotation type. Let's call this analytical commentary. And we'll say, this is my commentary. Save. Now you'll notice it doesn't appear here because we haven't chosen to view the analytical commentary first, but we do have it in this tab. So we can click here, and there's my analytical commentary. And we could add a textual commentary. Annotate, textual commentary. This is another commentary. Save. It doesn't appear, again, because we have the analytical commentary up first, so we can simply switch the tab, or you could go back and forth simply by clicking there. Okay. So that, in a nutshell, is how you add content, to add layers of transcriptions or translations or commentaries to your project.